Listening is the key. Why do we listen? We listen to obtain information. I need to get directions, whatever that is, right? How many of you ever asked somebody for directions and about 4 words into it, you aren't listening to anything that they have to say? Because I do this. Anybody else? Because I know I'm not the only one. All those people that lack active listening, like me, 100%. We listen to understand. Why did this happen? We listen for enjoyment. That's the easiest one because it's funny. It brings in an emotion. Once an emotion is attached to something, we have a connection. That's the easy one. That's the low-hanging fruit. And then we listen to learn. Now get this, when I talked about that 95% earlier, 25%. So you 95, those 5% of you that feel like that you are great communicators, right? 95% struggle with communication, with being clear. Get this fact. I love facts because data tells us what we need to work on. Research also shows that in any given conversation, we walk away from that conversation only retaining 25 to 50% of the information in that conversation. So when you're going to the Hill and you're sitting there meeting with the staff or a congressman or a senator, think about that fact. Because all the things that are going on in our lives, if we can only pay attention to 25 to 50% and we retain it and we walk away, how difficult is it for you to get your point across? And not going to lie, I'm sitting here today, but I've heard some of the questions and comments from the microphones that could have been a little bit shorter. And you think about that 25 to 50%, like I'm sure a good number of you have said, I don't even know what the question is anymore because I'm still listening to the talking. But we have to figure out how to be more concise and get to the point so that we can try to raise those numbers from 25 to 50%. Maybe we can get a 75% out of this. Maybe that 50% is the best we're going to get, but we need to strive for that. But it's on us and our communication techniques in order to make the point and make it so that somebody walks away from that conversation. I know what they were talking about. Recognizing where we are and how good of an empathetic listener we are, we can improve our emotional intelligence. We can make it better. This is something that can grow. I put some facts on here. Some of it doesn't really relate. A couple things in here we'll kind of talk about. But here is how important emotional intelligence is. Think about this. Right? About 36% of the people in the world are emotionally intelligent. So figure about 65% of the people that you encounter have probably very little skill in emotional intelligence. They're not putting themselves out there. But if you come in showing that with that 65%, you've got to figure, you're not getting it from them. But if you're putting it out there to them, you're opening some doors. Only 42% of companies offer EQ training. Any of your airlines offer any of this? Has anybody ever had this through the airline? You're shaking your head. You've had some? Good. Good, because most companies don't. Fewer than 20% of companies qualify as emotionally intelligent. Does anybody in here feel like their airline's emotionally intelligent? I kind of figured I knew the answer to that, but I just had to ask the question. Almost 60%, this is crazy to think about, almost 60% of job success is attributed to emotional intelligence. 60%. Because these tend to be the people that you want to promote, that you want to put out there, that you want to represent you or your entity or your company or your organization, whatever that is. These are the people that you want to be the face. So, that person's got something. And then, on average, people with higher EQ make $28,000 more in salary. It's crazy to think about. You could actually raise your salary just because you're starting to think about people's feelings. Who would have thought that? But it's huge.